Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my fall favorites for 2021. I am so excited to do this video. I actually have a pile of eyeshadow palettes I'm just staring at right now that I'm so excited to talk to you about, and some other makeup as well, but right now the tower next to me is all eyeshadow palettes. I'm also really excited to get into some more lifestyle things with you guys that are my fall favorites as well. A little bit of clothing, a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of home decor, a little bit of self-care, body care kind of things. So I am so excited to get into this favorites video with you guys. So as you guys know, I love to kind of sit back and relax with my friends. So have a tea, have a glass of wine, get a snack, get comfy so we can have a little girl time together and I go through a bunch of my fall favorites. Cheers! I feel like today's look is like on another level, and that's kind of part of the favorites part because there's a lot of different pieces here. You know that saying, what was it? Was it a Audrey Hepburn saying? Or Coco Chanel, where you take off one thing before you leave the house just so you don't have too much on. Well, today I added more on. Today was one of those days because I was like, oh, I want to talk about this. Oh, I can't forget to mention something like that. So I just kept piling on, and I'm not even sorry. Between the makeup, the really big hair today, super fluffy, and the jewelry, I'm just ready to go. Also, really quickly, I was asking you guys a bunch of poll questions on my community tab. So please, if you have a moment, take the surveys and just do little polls for me to give me an idea of what you like to see here on my channel. I like to check in with you guys just to kind of see what are you wanting to watch, how long are you wanting to watch it, what days, and things like that, because I want to keep all of your thoughts in mind while I'm creating all of these videos every single week, because my goal here is to continue to grow. So I want to know what the majority of you guys want. And this morning when I was getting ready to sit down and film this video, I did see, because I know a lot of you guys love the super long content and some of you actually complain when it's not long enough, but the majority of you guys are telling me as of this moment you want 20 to 30 minute videos. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna try to be, I know some of you love the really long content, some of you like a little bit shorter, so I'm trying to keep all of you in mind. So do me a favor and take those poll questions so I can put out more of what you guys like to see and for how long and what days and all those good things. And leave me your suggestions in the comments. I love that so much. So obviously, starting off this video, I have to talk about makeup first because I love makeup. We're all makeup lovers. That's why we're here. That's why I started this channel, because we love makeup. And I've got a bunch of makeup on the face today. I'm even going to be talking about makeup styles that I really enjoy in these fall times. So let's start with some face pieces, shall we? As you guys know, I do love a good foundation that's going to kind of like help smooth out the skin, conceal some pores and some maybe imperfections. I've got some freckles, things like that. So I don't want to get too deep into which one, because you guys already know I love my Natasha Denona Transform Matte. I talk about it all the time. But I'm also kind of going back into other things now that fall is happening. But it's more the coverage that I'm looking for now. I feel like over the past year and a half, really, a lot of us have been going to more light, medium to light foundations and kind of that base makeup. In the fall, that's when I really start to give myself permission to go more glam, kind of conceal a bit more of my freckles and natural skin, and just kind of go all out. And that's really where I start to get really excited for makeup. I also find that it's the time of year where I go a little bit more matte with my items and choices for my makeup. So maybe a little less of the dewy look and more of the matte look. I feel like this powder is like bottomless and I use it so darn much, but I can use this really all year round so far, I've discovered. The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Cashew Loose powder has become a staple in my daily routine. I honestly didn't even mean to talk about it in this video, but I really do realize that this product is something that I can use to start my face after I've done my foundations, and it gives a little bit of warmth, but it's so natural that I can stop there if I choose, or it's a building block. It's where I can move on and decide if I'm gonna go full glam for the day or if I'm gonna take it easy and be more natural. It's a super finely milled powder, as you've heard me say a zillion times. The color choice in Cashew works great for my skin, but also it helps me to blend and marry. Like today I got, you guys ever get weird acne and spots? I got a zit right here in the middle of my neck. Like why? I don't know. But I was using a little bit of concealers and that was a little too bright or a different shade of my skin. So I used this just to kind of like mix it down. Now don't stare too closely. I feel like you're all gonna be staring at my neck now. But it helps to kind of just like blend it all out, and it is so finely milled that it makes your skin just look like it's got that polish to it. It's just finished and it makes it everything smooth and easy, and it looks like your skin but better. This is something that I still love and rave about. Again, didn't even mean to talk about it in this video and it just came up. Because then I can go on to other bronzers. And a bronzer, this is my second one of this same bronzer. And I have a lot of competition in my beauty space, so that kind of tells you. This number 7 maple bronzer that I got at a drugstore, gosh, for like so inexpensive, it takes the cake for me a lot of times in this cooler season. The shade Maple really complements, but you can build it. As you can see, it just kind of goes on light. There's not a lot of kick up in the pan at all. And you can just keep building it up over and over, but it stays so natural. And this is kind of like my cooler tone shade when I may be getting a little less of the vitamin D outside and it's kind of starting to get a little bit cooler. Well, it's still in the 80s in Florida, but you know what I'm saying. It's just the way I like to mix up my makeup in the fall, and this bronzer is really great to keep your face warmed up, but in a nice matte, even finish kind of way. It doesn't overwhelm, and it does help, like if you get a little bit of the afternoon shinies, because I have oily skin, you can even just do a touch of that if you're just needing a little refresher, and it looks great. Now that's not to say that I'm not going to use one of my favorite bronzers that is more shimmery. But as I have found as the fall season has rolled around, what I've done instead of using a highlight is just use this for my base bronzer and I'm good to go all day long, and I feel like it's a healthy glow. You've heard me talk about her a lot. I may as well do a panning video and talk about her. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil. If you're watching my channel and you've been here all year, you know that this is my baby. I love her. I already have a backup because this is how much I have hit pan on her, and she is a great finishing bronzer for me, or I can use her all by herself. Does anybody else call it a finishing bronzer? Or is anybody else that high maintenance with their makeup? Because there are days where I will start with a more matte bronzer and then just to do a light touch instead of doing a highlighter or doing those extra steps even with a blush. Sometimes I'll just go in with this, kind of sweep it across the face in that W technique so it kind of gets right across, and then just maybe a little bit up in the brow area. Done, done, done. Although I have to tell you, I'm doing a wear test right now behind the scenes with the brows, and I had to wipe off my brows before I came on camera and redo them, so those are bugging me today. So nobody stare at my brows today because that's for a wear test for a different video. Okay, this is also when blushes get moved forward in my beauty space, and I'm not a big blush girl, although a lot of you know I have converted into the blush lifestyle over the past maybe 2-3 years now. I don't even know. More so I would say the last 2 years, because I used to just be a bronzer highlighter girl, and that was how I lived my life on the daily. And things changed. My makeup techniques have changed, my style has changed a bit, but just kind of like as makeup trends, I'm sure influence that as well. I didn't do a ton of blush, I would say. Well, I did some blush over the summer, but now I feel like this is where those deeper, richer tones that really complement for brunettes and my skin tone really come to play. Because in the summer, it feels like it's too much and we were still doing a lighter face. Now we can go a little bit more bold, and I've got some oldies in here, but goodies, and I have a newer drugstore favorite. How many of you guys still have this blush in your collection? We've talked about it a lot in my channel, usually about this time of year. It's the Note blush. This was a brand I had never even heard of. This is in the shade 05 Desert Rose, and look how nice this is. This is actually, it looks maybe a little intimidating if you're not a blush girl like me, but the formula, oh my gosh, so smooth, so silky. It's this terracotta type blush. It's a little bit of a coral brown tone to her, and she applies so beautifully. You can even blend it down a bit, and it just complements the skin. It's got a really pretty finish to her. This is something that I have continued to pull out, I would say like, oh gosh, the past 2-3 years, and it's still that favorite blush for me. It's not aged out, it's not started getting crumbly, it doesn't fall apart on the face, it just looks really nice. And this is one that I love to pull out this time of year. It's that deeper tone. All right, this one's really old too, but she still performs like a champ. This is a loose one though, so she's a little bit more finicky for me to work with, but I am messy. This is the Studio Makeup Loose Blush. This is a Luminous Loose Blush. I don't even think it says a shade on here. It just says Luminous Loose Blush from Studio Makeup. I was trying to get a little bit more investigative for you and give you another name, but that's all I got. This is like one of those dusty rose pink shades though. She's got a little bit of fallout to her, but it's a different type of blush. It's a matte blush that's very complimentary. It feels like she's not overwhelming, but a gorgeous tone. She's also got another great finish to her. It's not overwhelming, and that's how I like blush most of the time, is not overwhelming. And as you can probably see on my face, I allow other makeup to do the talking sometimes if I'm wanting to go bold or go glam or add that extra oomph in the fall time when you're kind of like giving yourself permission to go for it. I don't want my blush to be the showstopper. I like the eyes to be the showstopper, sometimes the lips to be the showstopper. So I like that type of blush, and I really have held on to this even though I'm not a huge fan of loose powders in general as far as like bronzers, highlighters, and blushes go. That's never been my jam, but I have held on to this throughout the test of time because she's that good. And I love the color. I think the color is really what takes it for me. Speaking of blushes, I'm gonna do one more, just one more, and it's this NYX one that I told you about earlier in the year. It's called Summer Breeze, but it's a gorgeous, deeper tone that, again, I feel like that's what I think of too when I'm looking into fall. Like, you can get a little bit louder, and oh, look at her. That's really nice. It's matte, but she has a different finish to her. There's a little bit of a luminosity that lets the finish look like that's your skin. It just really has more of a healthy look to it, not like a shimmery, glittery look. And I like to pull that out from time to time. I love to add some drugstore in there too because it's affordable, easy to get to, and it's pretty consistent, I do believe. I think I've seen it every time I've gone into the drugstore, at least my local ones. We're gonna be here forever if I don't get into the eyeshadow palettes, and I just said I'm trying to not go too long with these because I do still have some amazing lifestyle things. Eyeshadow palettes are the thing that I think I switch up the most in my beauty collection as the seasons shift. And I think that's just because sometimes summer, like I said, maybe we're lighter, maybe we're looking for specific neutral things just to keep a neutral face. But again, once it gets cooler, that's when I allow the artistry to really come out. I feel like sometimes a glam look is necessary, sometimes just a bold liner, maybe a bold lip. So the eyes though for me is where it happens every time, because eyeshadow palettes, darn it, that's gonna be the thing that I just can't quit. I've got some old palettes in here and newer this year type palettes. So there's a lot to unpack here. I'm gonna start at the top of this huge pile and work my way down. This one is newer to my collection, but I have found myself already reaching for this for easy day-to-day looks, whether I'm working or if I'm getting ready to come on camera. And it's a small, easy palette that I could travel with or pair with other palettes because it's pretty simple just to pull out. This is the Fenty 7 Cadet palette, and I told you guys recently I fell in love with the matte shades here. I think the matte formula is really nice. I've not always been impressed with her formulas, and so far this one takes the cake for me. I also could pop into some of these other shades as well as great assist pieces. Something that I have on my eyes today and something that I really fell in love with, I feel like over the past, I don't know, maybe 8 to 12 months, is something that I thought I hated at first, but it's so pricey. It's a really pricey palette that I'm so glad I got from a Boxycharm. This is the Viseart palette. This is more the natural matte eyeshadow palette. I use this a bunch today to create this bold but like neutral shade look. I think I went into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shadows on my eyes today. The liner obviously takes the cake, the lashes take the cake, but it just was a nice smoked out look. And this is the kind of style that I also love to pull out, along with the reverse smoky eye. You guys saw me do a reverse smoky eye recently in an insert that I was talking about Boxycharm updates, and a couple of you guys were like, I'm sorry, I was distracted and had to pause it. Can we talk about that eye look? Are you going to show us how to do that eye look? If you do want to see maybe some fast tutorials this fall, let me know. This is something that I wanted to pull out that was just a little bit more, let the lashes have a moment and let the darkness next to the eyes be the moment, and then just kind of like let it be. I thought this was a fun, sassy fall look that's sort of borderline glam, just kind of bold in itself. I love to mix it up. We gotta get to some oldies here. Oldies but goodies with our friends at Colourpop. I have some older palettes here that I was thinking of two of them, but one of you guys in, I think Instagram, reminded me of this one. I've had these since like 2018, 2017 maybe. So excited to pull these out this fall. You had me at Hello Colourpop palette. I mean, this palette along with this Element of Surprise palette has a lot of the color story that I feel like some of their more recent releases have had. So I kind of feel like I'm even saving money by pulling out some of my old favorites that I have been using the formula. They still work great. And I always think of this as a summer palette, I feel like recently, but I know in the past I've used this for fall. This is the Colourpop Yes Please palette. You can look at this and you can definitely see between the orange tones, the warm tones, the yellow tones. We've got some burnt orange in here. You could definitely get some great fall looks with this. So I was so grateful one of you pointed that out, so I'm like, oh yeah, I can pull this into my little rotation too. Okay, now we've got an oldie and a newbie, all from Colourpop. Super excited to use her this fall, and I've already started. Who remembers Colourpop Villains Misunderstood palette? Who remembers this baby? I have already been pulling into her. I usually use this as an assist palette, like some of these more metallic-y, shimmery shades, maybe with some different mattes, although this has some nice mattes in it too. I can pull into this palette and really complement an eye look because these are gorgeous. I really loved this shade up here too. That Diablo shade in the fall kind of has that yellow-green tone that just kind of gives that extra oomph to a lid look. So good. And I let you guys know recently that I was going to be shopping soon, and I saw something pop up from Colourpop that I needed in my life, and it is Gather Round Sisters original palette. I was able to grab one of these the day that it was re-released. She has another palette out too, obviously. I think it's like a Hocus Pocus 2 like wave palette, but this one was really the one that made me so excited, and I've already been using her. I think these are gorgeous. However, I will say I've only gotten to play with this for maybe 3 or 4 looks now. There are some shades that perform better than others, so stay tuned for maybe an upcoming faves and fails video where I get a little bit more in depth of a review for this, because right now it's still so new to my collection. I'm still excited to play with it this fall, but I haven't gotten to do a full review on it yet, so stay tuned. Pretty excited about that, but this is something I'm definitely going to be using. Okay, so these are 2 oldies that I have coming up. One is newer to my collection though, but it's been around forever. But I treated myself last year on my birthday to the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. This palette is something I really find I pull into at least a few times a month. I would say maybe even once every 2 weeks at minimum. And again, I'm somebody who gets, you know, multiple Boxycharms. I'm trying a lot of different eyeshadows. I'm pulling into some other favorites I'm talking about a lot in this video, but this one definitely still pulls me in for specific pieces. Like Rolling in the Dough is a great palette. I forgot how good it smells. It always smells delicious. This is a great way to start a lid, kind of pack in maybe more of a neutral eye in the base, because that's also a fun fall look to do. It kind of did it today, but with a different palette, the Viseart palette, where you keep it all matte down there, because a lot of times I'm a shimmer lover. I want to go shimmer, but some days you want to add a little bit of that light matte color and let that be its own moment. All of these shimmers are so good. I've not had many complaints about this palette personally. It is just so nice, and it has a really fun fall color story. So excited to pull this out more this fall. Okay, super old for most of YouTube, but I think I only got this within the past 2 years, so I still kind of think of her as a fun, not newer palette, but something fun to pull out. I'm not sick of it yet. This is the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I mean, doesn't this just scream fall to you? This may even give you some nostalgia if you do have her from the original release, because she's definitely been around for a while. But oh my golly, what great shadows, what great color selections. You can do a lot of different looks with this palette, and I just love it. I love to pull it out specifically this time of year because it just is fall. This is fall. This is a cup of cider. Oh, I told you guys, there are a lot of palettes that I am talking about. And now I'm going to be getting into a little bit more of a neutral palette that all of us fell in love with if we received it this year from Boxy. This is the Dominique Transitions palette. I mean, look at how big these pans are. Look at all of these options you have. I have even compared this to the Viseart palette that I do love, and it's like an $80 retail. This is $48, still cha-ching, cha-ching, still pricey. But if you get it in a Boxycharm, it is cheaper. I love the formula on these. I love the blendability. I love the multiple looks I can get. It is all matte. It is a transition palette, but that's also a fun way to go when you're doing different looks. Yes, I love a good shimmer. I love a good metal look. So my Too Faced palette will definitely get some love with those types of things in my Colourpops, but this one is so great for either an all matte look or an assist palette to start building some color in with maybe a super colorful palette. And I've got one of those coming up too, where there's not a lot of neutrals that let you kind of start a look, because we've talked about this. I love to put out like 2, 3, sometimes 4 palettes and just let the palettes speak to me. Let my artistry do the work. And I love hearing that some of you guys do that too, because I guess not everybody does. And some people have been like,
"You're lying. You never did that. That's not true."
Like, I do. I do. My house is too small to invite all of you over, but I do that in the mornings where I pull out a bunch of palettes. So I could see myself pairing this with something that has a lot more bold, gem tone, shimmer shades, or as a standalone. I love it. Shocked me. This next palette shocked me. I was planning to hate it, declutter it, not use it. And I have found myself putting my hands back into this palette more frequently than I thought. And I feel like this color story is going to be a home run this fall. This is the Ciate London I Am Woman, What's Your Superpower palette. And these shades and this formula, the formula is what shocked me the most, but these shades, these say fall to me. These are like, hey, let's take a stroll in the park, watch the leaves fall, and have a nice hot cup of tea, right? I know I keep saying something like, why does she keep saying upcoming fall, or fall feels futuristic? It's because it's like 89 degrees right now where I am. So really the cooler times for me are going to be coming next month. And that's when I'm thinking like purples, maroon shades, even these gorgeous, oh, they're so soft, shimmer shades. There's mattes in here. There's a lot of beautiful colors to be had in here. This screams autumn. It just does for me. So, and I'm really impressed with also the formula. Thought I was gonna hate it. I just had a memory recall to last fall when I think it was the New England Editor palette. I don't remember which brand that was with, but that one I was like, oh, fall's gonna be my jam with that. And then I just didn't like the formula. I didn't like the shimmers in that palette. It just didn't land for me for that whole season, so it was such a disappointment. Whereas this one, I'm so excited for. And this is kind of in my brain. I'm like, this looks like fall. Let's play. And the color payoff and the spreadability, considering I just dipped into them really quickly, not mad about it. Got another newbie and another oldie. I'm just mixing it up right now. I am all over the map. This is something newer, and it's so darn big and bulky that I've had to put her in another drawer. So I feel like summer kind of got away from me with this palette. So I need to use these very colorful shades this fall. This is the ABH Norvia 3 palette, and there are a lot of colors in here. Look at those greens. Look at these deeper, richer tones in here too, though. So we've got some like maroon tones. We've got some little bit more neutral tones. We've got some purples. These greens could be really fun for fall. We've got some orange tones. I mean, we could be a full pumpkin with our faces with this. I feel like it was a little inconsistent as far as some shimmers went and maybe some of the mattes, but I want to play with this more. I feel like this is a time that I could pull this out and be more bold with colors, because in the fall, like I said, I like to go glam. I like to be a little bit more bold, and sometimes bold will mean just a liner. Sometimes bold means a red lip or a little bit of a deeper lip, or sometimes it is some bold ass eyeshadows, because I feel like that's like the hall pass. Fall is like the gateway to the bold makeup. Speaking of bold, I mentioned earlier that I may pair that Dominique Cosmetics palette that's all mattes and very neutral shades with something that is so bold, so shimmery that I usually need an assist palette anyway. This was in my recent video where I was going through a lot of my eyeshadow palettes that are on deck this season. So yeah, I'm excited to use these, but I have a whole other pile of eyeshadow palettes that are on deck for me to either impress me or get decluttered. If you missed that video, I will link it above for you because there's a lot to talk about in there. This palette is so good. I spent a good amount of time the day before filming it just swatching this Zodiac Love Signs palette from BH Cosmetics. I feel like it's so underrated. I feel like people don't talk about BH Cosmetics enough. And these are amazing shadows. They blend well, they swatch well, they look great on the lids. Their mattes are good too. The shimmers are, I feel like, these are their baked shimmers. I feel like these are standouts, but the mattes are good too. They blend, they lay beautifully on top of each other. They can buff with each other and blend down nicely even with these shimmers. They are all great. And I'm thinking I'm going to pair this with some of the Transition palette. But the issue with this one is kind of like this one. They're so big, I have to lay them down. And they sit in a different drawer, and I keep getting more stuff from other things, and stuff gets piled on top of it. So I'm making some of these palettes a priority to decide, am I keeping you or am I decluttering you? This is definitely something that I'm, now that I swatched this palette for that previous video, I'm hyped to use this one too. Okay, that was a ton of eyeshadow palettes. And I keep mentioning lips. I know, because I happen to be a nude lover of a lot of things. I like nude eyes, I like nude makeup, I like nude lips. Well, fall and really into the winter time as well is the season to start pulling out some of my deeper, richer tones. Now, yes, some of things that are deeper and richer to me may not be to you. Makeup is subjective, because I love a good nude lip. It's just who I am. But I usually do really enjoy, once I get going with the bolder lip, I usually just like get on this train of like, okay, now let's try this one, let's try that one. And I've got some favorites here. I know Becca's not around anymore, but sometimes you will see this in a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx or even maybe a Boxycharm, you know, pop-up, whatever they're calling them now. But Ultimate Love Struck lipsticks, whatever they're calling them, this one is in the shade Burgundy, and it became a favorite for me and really opened up my eyes to the bullet lippies again, because I wasn't a big fan of them for a long time. Formula is so good. I love this color. It's something that stands out to me for fall for sure. And honestly, it always makes my teeth look whiter when I do it. I'm always like, why do I get away from these colorful shades when my teeth and smile look brighter, look beautiful? Why do I get away from it? I love a nude. I'm so basic. I pulled out the other day the red version of this Dose of Colors lippy, and I wore it on Instagram and in my stories. And some of you guys were like, oh my gosh, what is that? What are you wearing? So I technically have two here. This is the red one and this is the pinker toned one. This one is Strawberry Pop and this one here is Date Night. These suckers will last for quite some time. I'm almost hesitant to swatch it. I need to like get something ready to wipe it back off so it doesn't stain me. But this red is what I was wearing in my Instagram, and a lot of you guys were like, what is on your lips? It's really pretty red shade and it will last, so I like had to be prepared for a look for that. And Strawberry Pop, I feel like I haven't used nearly as much. Pinker lips aren't really my jam, but it is a deeper pink, so I feel like I could get away with that this fall with like a complementary eye look or maybe a nude one. This Dose of Colors formula though is intense. It does not mess around. I gotta get this off really quickly or it is going to stain my hand there. And it does like last really well on the lips. I do tend to have like salads and balsamic vinaigrette for lunch, so it tends to like pull it off in the center, but you can just reapply and it looks just as fresh. Also, I don't know if they still sell this anymore, but who fell in love with the Colourpop liquid lipstick in the shade Beeper? Yeah, maybe this is a throwback for some people and they're like, Nicole, get with the times. We gotta do different lips now. This is something I had a backup of because I loved it so much. I remember when everybody was talking about Beeper, and it's still something that I love to pull out, but specifically in the fall. It's got a little bit of a purple undertone. It's got a base to it that's very complementary to a lot of different skin tones, and I think that's why it became a favorite for so many people. And it's, I mean, so pretty for fall. So pretty. It's got a deep, rich brown tone to it. Got some burgundy. It's nice. Highly recommend if they still sell it. I don't know if they do or not though. I also have some other things in my collection that I feel like I need to show some love to. This TreStique lipstick here, I feel like I don't touch it until fall. I really don't. But the formula is pretty nice. This shade is called English Rose. It's a very comfortable lippy. It does have a bit of a bleed to it, so I would suggest wearing it with a liner. It's got that, you know, that another level of deep red that I was saying I only usually pull out later in the year. And I've always enjoyed this formula. It's the Steve Laurant. This is like a lip, is it a lip? I think it's more of a lip gloss, honestly. But it's got that deeper terracotta tone to it. And it's actually pretty opaque, so you get a good amount of coverage too. It's really nice. This is just kind of like an example of some of the colors that I like to pull out in the fall because that tends to be when it's like the colors come alive. Now, sometimes you just need a quick look, but you want it to look beautiful. You want it to look fast and you want it to look a little extra in the fall. This is where I'm kind of like getting into that glam look, but without a lot of work. So this is going to be like the eyeshadows that are fast and you can use them alone. This is the Colourpop Super Shock Shadow that I've recently told you guys about in the shade Pledge Class. This baby is really beautiful. You could pull it across your lid, you could pull it up into your crease. It could be a one-note look, or you could add it to things, and it will make a gorgeous fall look for you so nicely, and it'll last all day, and it's fast. Sometimes, I hate to keep bringing up the speed, but sometimes, girl, I need speed. I need to move about my day, and I don't have time to do all this every day. This is with one swipe here. Super nice, super opaque. You can layer it up on itself if you're wanting a bit more. I use my fingers for these a lot, but you can use a brush. And this is a formula that goes so well in your crease that you could have a bunch of Super Shock shadows and kind of mix up your looks and make it look like you tried when you really did not. Another type of eyeshadow that I like to do, that I thought I would hate to do, but I actually like to do, something a lot of people knew about long before me. It's the Stila Glitter and Glow Liquid Shadows. The shade that I am obsessed with in the fall time, kind of like once it gets cooler, it could be, you know, into winter too, is this shade here called Smoldering Satin. I feel like this is a nice tone for so many people. It's a bit cooler and it's got these specks in her. It's got the glitter in it and the glow in it that just complements, and it looks like you did some work, right? And you really just literally played it across your lid. You could even pat it down with your fingers or a brush to blend, and it's so nice and pretty. Every time I've ever worn this, people really thought I did something that day. Like, I did some work on my look, and I was like, this is the fastest thing I've done. Whereas this right now, what I'm actually wearing, took quite a while. So it kind of depends on what you're in the mood for. What kind of glam or bold or basic are you looking for? And this is so easy, so fast. I do have some other shades, but I feel like this color in particular is my favorite to pull out this time of year, and I was already getting excited to do it. All right, I know I said I was trying to keep this down in time, but there was a lot of eyeshadow palettes to talk about, so please forgive me if this goes over a bit. I'm still trying to retrain myself too for how long you guys want these videos to be, because I gotta tell you about some jewelry, I gotta tell you about some lifestyle, some clothing pieces, because I get so excited. One of the first lifestyle things I have to tell you about is something I am still obsessed with. If you love delicious smelling body soaps, I can't shut up about this brand, and I'm so excited to tell you about the fall collection for the Mel T Company soaps. I am obsessed with their fall collection, and I'm already looking forward to their Christmas selection. I'm also really excited to tell you guys, she is giving me a discount code for you guys. This is the first time I've ever had a discount code from them, so please use this code if you want to save some money on some amazing homemade luxury soaps. I've told you guys about these throughout the year this year, and I am completely obsessed. I reached out to her to say, hey, do you want you want to hang out again? You want to play? Because I'm obsessed with your soaps, and I love telling my friends about things that I really do use. And yes, Adam is obsessed. Adam already was like, can you film your B-roll footage for the video that you have to do? Because I want to go use one of these right now in the shower. Like, I gotta go. And you know an Adam endorsement is pretty good because he's picky. They're running a 10% off sale through the end of the month, through Halloween, and the code is, all caps, Halloween! Perfect for exactly what we're doing here. I'm going to link her below. She is amazing, and I have to tell you about the soaps. There's already one in my shower, so luckily I already filmed some footage for you guys to see it. The amazing scents that we're already using, and Adam's favorite so far is the one that he has in the shower. It's Apple Honey Champagne. It is so good. It does have this apple-y scent to it, obviously, but then that champagne smell is this like nice, clean, bright smell. It is so delicious. And I've already been using it in the shower too, and I'm obsessed. The next one that I have here in her gorgeous packaging, I love it, is Witch's Brew. I am obsessed with this. This one has like the smell of like patchouli and vanilla. I think it smells so nice. This just smells like fall. Her designs are also some of my favorites that I have ever seen. These next two are just, oh, stunning. This gorgeous soap here is called Cereal Milk Soap. I think this smells like Fruit Loops the most, but I could see you kind of pulling it in multiple ways, but it's still such a fresh, nice scent. Look how gorgeous it is. It is such a pretty soap. I feel like this would also look great if you have like a guest bath or like a guest room where, you know, you have your guests go and wash up, or if you're having, I don't know, family in for the holidays. I feel like these are going to just showcase so nicely. So these all scream fall, but this one I think is my favorite. This is the Pumpkin Bourbon Soap. I mean, look at this adorableness. It's got that like warm vanilla, cinnamon. Oh, it smells, I mean, this smells like you are on a pumpkin patch farm. You're gonna go pick apples and pumpkins and drink cider. And even though I'm looking out my window right now at palm trees, it takes me to a fall level that, this one's my favorite. This one I think is my absolute favorite for this season. I'm obsessed with these soaps, and I just want to thank Mel, who runs the Mel Tea Soap Company, for continuing to want to work with me, because I've reached out to her every time being like, I love these. Adam's obsessed with them, and we love luxury soaps. We've been buying them for years now, years and years. And this company is the one that we've stopped buying from some of our previous vendors that we liked, because we found these guys and we love them. I think these are quality. I feel like they stand up to some of the nicest ones that we have ever spent more money on too. I feel like she's well priced, and like I said, she is giving you guys a discount for this season, so please check her out at the link below. I can't stop smelling this. I just can't. It's so good. Okay, I really do quickly have to say this. October is Breast Cancer Awareness. So I know I still love to talk about makeup and lifestyle and things, and this is a lifestyle piece. But since breast cancer awareness is really important to me, as a woman that has a bustier chest, and I come from a long line of women with bustier chests, breast cancer is something we're all very mindful of. Like, it's something in my family that we've, you know, I don't want to say fear, but we do. It's something that we're always top of mind of. My grandmother did pass away from cancer. They did find that she did have some breast cancer, but they had to do some tests on it and make sure that it wasn't the kind that gets passed on, and it wasn't. It's just still something, though, that I mean, you don't even have to be a busty woman to get cancer, as we know. It's just something that has always been something I've thought about and my family has. So I wanted to take this opportunity because Roses Forever reached out to me again. This is a brand I've worked with before. I'll show you the bouquet that I have had since the beginning of this year. But I wanted to show you what they're working on right now for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I love that they have gone full pink. They have black ones too, but they have gone full pink with their breast cancer awareness bouquets. If you don't remember me telling you about Roses Forever before, I'll very quickly tell you, these are real roses, and they will last a full year plus, potentially. Mine still look amazing. I'll pull them out in just a second. This is just the new bouquet that they sent me for this campaign that they're working on, and I just think it's such an important cause. You may have a friend, a family member, a coworker, someone you know that has been affected by breast cancer, because it is something that really is something as women's healthcare, and I have talked about women's healthcare on my channel with my whole endometriosis journey and story, that I feel like as women, we need to talk about these kind of causes and things more to be preventative and keep the information going out there, because our health is all we have, and it is so important. So I am so grateful that Roses Forever wanted to partner with me on this portion of my video. So this portion of my video is sponsored by Roses Forever. They did gift me these gorgeous pink October campaign roses. They're stunning. They're in a stunning hat here. These roses will last you an entire year. And if you would like to look into getting your own roses that will last a year, they're real roses. They're gorgeous when you display them. If you're looking to get a discount and be part of their Pink October campaign, check out my link below. You can get $20 off using my code Nicole20. It's in support of a really great cause. I really think that these have been amazing to showcase here in my home. Let me get you my original bouquet that I have had for a really long time. If black is more your vibe, I do have this black velvet that I have had since the beginning of this year. And again, these are real roses. look how gorgeous they still look. Minus maybe a little dog hair and lint. These look stunning. This is the black one that I had gotten earlier this year. They have roses in so many colors. They have them in red, they have them in blue, they have them in different shades of pink. They have a variety of them, but this is what I've had since the beginning of the year to show you that these real roses last. This is one of their smaller bouquets. They have even smaller, and then they have huge ones. So thank you so much, Rose Forever, for partnering with me on this portion of my video to really support an amazing cause like breast cancer awareness. I think that is so important. So not only can you have something gorgeous to display in your home that, by the way, you don't have to do anything to these. Literally, I don't water them. They don't want you to water them. You don't feed them. You don't put them in direct sunlight. They can literally sit anywhere you want in your home and just be a beautiful showcase piece. So thank you so much, Roses Forever. I really appreciate you wanting to work with me again. And now I feel like I'd be a little remiss if I didn't discuss a little jewelry. I tend to be a little bit more of that boho vibe. I love some good bangles. I love some statement pieces that I'm still wearing with other things. You're supposed to wear statement pieces as the statement, but like I said, today I was going all in. I've got a couple different pieces that I really like to pull out that for me just have that extra touch. They're a little bit of a moment in themselves. Sometimes it's a statement ring. Maybe it's just supposed to be like the one and done situation. And I have a couple of different styles that I like to keep on hand for either filming or just to kind of like dress up my day. But then, as I said, I also like to do bangles. I'm more of like the beaded kind of girl, but I also like some of these chunkier pieces as well, and then I mix and match them. Sometimes it's for a bold color statement. Sometimes it's just to add a little flair to a look. This is something, again, I would normally only pull out for like by itself. I wouldn't be adding all this stuff. And what I can link or something similar to, I will link below. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about like particular pieces I have in my collection. Some of these have been passed down and they're kind of like family things, so I don't even have links for them. They're not something that you can get in like Amazon or something, but some of these pieces I could probably find dupes for, so whatever I can find I will link below for you. My point of kind of telling you about these types of things, because some things you can purchase, some things you can't, it's just this is when I kind of shift up my jewelry choices too. Maybe I'll get a little bit more bold like I do with my makeup. I feel like sometimes the bigger jewelry gets to come out in more like showy times. Like if you're doing some showy makeup, maybe you'll do some showy jewelry too. I've also mentioned before, I really like some of the more natural stone jewelry as well, and I got these off of a website that I can link for you. I believe these pieces right here that are stones are from Kensley Armel. They're a little bit pricier online, but they are very quality and they have lasted me quite some time. I've had them for over a year and a half now. They look great, they hold up great, they can be paired with other things. And some of these bigger, chunkier pieces, like this orange, well, they're both orange, are Rustic Cuff. I've really fallen in love with their brand throughout the years as well. And these little guys are just cheapies that I got at like TJ Maxx's and stuff. Just kind of like to go a little, I don't know, more bold with my jewelry when I'm kind of transitioning looks. Also, I have to say, yes, we like a good neutral tone moment with our clothing choices. But I also like to be a little bit more bold. This is a top you've definitely seen on my Instagram and here on my channel. This is one of my off-shoulder tops that you've seen me in videos. And I've got a few other pieces that I feel like are nice and stand out. They are a little bit more boho. Like I said, that's kind of my vibe. And I like that it's got a little bit more of a sleeve to it, a little bit more of a bell sleeve. So as you're kind of transitioning from, yeah, it's still, because I know some of you told me in the Midwest too, like back home in St. Louis today, the high is still going to be 80. So it's still like lighter, but it gives you a little bit of that fall feel, that mustard tone to you. So maybe you're pairing it with maybe a gorgeous eye look or maybe a bold lip. It just kind of gives us an excuse, you know, just to do a little bit more. This top I got off of Amazon. I also have a red top that a lot of you guys have asked me about before that I got from Venus. I'm going to be linking a bunch of more of my fall feeling clothes below that you could check out, or things that are comparable to. If I can't find the exact ones, I'll try to find you something comparable. And I'm trying something right now from Boxycharm, and it has made my hair hold a lot of curl. It's given me a lot of body and life, so stay tuned for an upcoming Boxycharm video, and check out my previous ones because I've been covering a lot of different stuff that I've been trying with my hair lately. But sometimes it's nice to be able to do a little bit different with your hair. I went darker was it a year ago now, I think? I think it was a year ago that I went darker. And so sometimes I like to do a blowout. Sometimes I like to let my natural curls flow. And this is literally just a mousse that I got from Boxycharm. So I am just loving kind of mixing up the look as we're kind of going into the fall season. Okay guys, I have covered a ton of makeup, a ton of eyeshadows, a ton of jewelry, a ton of other lifestyle things that I absolutely love. Let me know, what are your favorites for fall below? What are some things that get you super excited? Do you want to see like another version of this video, like some of my Amazon favorites for fall? Tell me below what your requests are. I really am kind of looking to grow my channel even more as we're getting into this fourth quarter of the year, so tell me all the things. And if you happen to be new, hi new friends, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that notification bell when you hit the subscribe button, because I know YouTube's been having a few issues, and even some of my longtime subscribers are like, I'm missing your videos, why am I not seeing them? Click the all button so you don't miss out. Bye friends!